Hey, kia ora, Helen Brahms here, coming to you live from Sun City in Arizona. Hope you're having a super fantastic sparkling start to Thankful Thursday. Yes, that one day of the week. Well, sorry. It's Tuesday. It's that one day of the week where we show gratitude for what we have accomplished during the week, for great things that have happened to us. But we should be grateful every single day. We should wake each day with a grateful heart. I woke with a grateful heart. We can go to bed with a grateful heart, and show gratitude throughout the day, no matter what I am going through. Be thankful in all things. Oops, hang on. We're just knocking things over on my desk here. So it's all about gratitude today. What are you most thankful for this week that happened? What happened to you this week that you are most grateful for? Please let us know in the comments below. And then your tell a story question of the day is: did you have any pets when you were growing up? Like cats, dogs, goldfish, birds, whatever, snakes, spiders? Did you have any pets when you were growing up? And if you did, what was your favorite? Did you have a favorite pet that you had when you were growing up? We had a cat called Mitzi when I was a baby. I don't recall Mitzi. All I remember is pictures of my mum holding me near the cat. I've seen pictures of cat Mitzi, and I've been held as a baby by the cat. So not by the cat, but near the cat. So that was my very first pet. I have no recollection of that one. But over the years, we've had, my dad had birds at one point. We had an aviary built on our back porch. I'm trying to remember what sort of birds he had in there. I just remember the aviary being there. There's been goldfish over the years. We've had cats during the year. My favorite one was Fluffy. Fluffy was, she wasn't long haired, she wasn't short haired. She was sort of like medium length hair. I called her a part Persian, but she was black and white, and she was a stray that my parents picked up. We actually had a cat before that called Sandy, which was this little golden cat that my youngest brother, had found that and had walked around the neighborhood trying to find out who it was, who this kitten belonged to. Couldn't find it out, so brought it home. And can't remember what happened to Sandy. Something happened to Sandy. Sandy ran away or something, or can't quite remember what happened to her. But my parents surprised us one day. We came home and there's this black and white cat sitting there called Fluffy, and we had her for the longest time. And she was, she had her bed in the garage, and her favorite game to play was, when we came in, we had the garage was here, the house was here, and there was a little breezeway there that went into the garage. And you'd step up onto the back porch there to ring the doorbell, or you go straight ahead into the garage. And there was concrete blocks as the foundation, and there was this little gap. And it was a great place to put a key for the house for when us kids came home. If my mum wasn't home, then we had a place where we could get the key. And we had a place where we kept the key. And you put your hand through this hole and curl it up, and the key was there on a hook. And then you could go and let yourself into the house. And the cat knew this. The cat, Fluffy, figured out pretty quickly, and she would sit the other side of this hole around the time that she would expect us home, and the hand would come through and she would whack it. That was her game thing. But her favorite thing, she was an indoor-outdoor cat. She'd come inside for food and all that sort of thing, and but her favorite thing was to go into the cemetery that was over our back fence. Yes, we always used to say we lived at the dead center of town. And you basically went down our backyard, up this hill that belonged to the council, over the barbed wire fence. Well, mainly a broken fence, through the gap in the hedge, and you step onto, what was her name? Is it Elliot? There was a grave right there from the 1800s that you would step on. And I would always apologize to them every time I went into the cemetery. I would always apologize to them about stepping on their grave. But Fluffy would go over there, and I would stand on the backyard and just holler for her, and she would come bounding down the hill when it was time for dinner and that sort of stuff. But she was a great hunter as well. She loved mice and birds, and thanks to her, I sort of don't like dead animals and would have to pick them up and put them over the back into the swamp area. It was one of my jobs. It was gross. It was disgusting. Thankfully, I didn't have to do the rabbits that she caught. She caught some rabbits one weekend when we were staying at a local campground, and Mum would come home to feed her, and she would find these dead rabbits in the middle of the backyard that our cat had killed. But she sort of kind of, even though she was a family cat, she kind of, when I went off to the Air Force, she would sit in my bedroom door and just meow. And Mum would be in there dusting. She'd say, come on, Fluff. And Fluffy would not come in. So she'd pick her up, put her on the bed, and Fluffy would run straight back out and sit back at the door again. And I remember the first time I was home, I went out and caught her and she comes flying in. But then that later that day I was in my room and she comes and she sits there in the doorway and just meows and says, "Fluff, fluff," and she just hopped straight up on the bed with me and no problem at all. But she wasn't allowed to stay in the house overnight. But I would leave the bathroom window open for her because the bathroom window opened into the garage and her bed was directly below it. And it was meant to be quiet because I would tell her, I said, "Shh, you're not allowed to say anything." And but she would get up on the windowsill there and proudly announce to everybody that she was in the house. Yes. But there was a time I had to stay out in the caravan in the backyard while they were doing renovations to the house, and she'd come in and sleep with me. And we were on a double-sized bed, yeah, but bigger than a full, but not quite a queen. And I would end up with this amount of the bed, and she would end up with this amount of the bed. And then at 5 o'clock every morning, she wanted to go outside. And she would sit there and purr in my ear. And if I didn't start, she would start rubbing her face all over my face till I woke up. And there was one time that she did this with her paw on my nose. And so I would just reach over, open the door. She'd go out, I'd close the door and go back to sleep. But yes, she was my favorite cat. We always had cats. She was my favorite growing up. And I did not have a dog until I came to the US, and Brad had Bear, who was a German Shepherd Doberman mixture. But those were my animals when I was growing up. Anyway, I'm out of here. I gotta go get some work done. Have a super fantastic sparkling day, and we'll catch you guys later on today at 6 p.m. Pacific time. Hei konara.